Good evening. We'd like to call this Court of Common Council meeting to order for today, Monday, June 12th, 2023, for a public comment portion of our council meeting. Before we begin, I would like to read a disclaimer. Public hearings, public comments shall be conducted in accordance with the following procedures. Each person wishing to address the council or committee thereof shall, upon recognition by the presiding officer, give his or her name, address, and if he or she represents a group, shall in addition state for the record the name and address of said group or organization, shall limit his or her remarks to 3 minutes. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or who becomes boisterous while addressing the council shall be forthwith barred by the presiding officer from further audience of this meeting unless permission to remain is granted by 2/3 vote of the council members present and voting. During the public comment, there should be no debate by the council, although questions may be asked by council of persons making such presentation. Good evening. My name is Councilman T.J. Clark. I am the majority leader. We are joined by Councilwoman Shirley Surgeon, Councilman Amilcar Hernandez, Councilman Nick LeBron, our Assistant Majority Leader, Malin Rossetti, our Town and City Clerk, Mr. Noel LeGregor, and Councilman Joshua Mitchum. With that said, we will call the names. Janine Webb.
Okay. Good evening, council members. I'm going to speak on resolution R 2023-034 that's on the council agenda tonight. My name is Jeannie Webb. I live at 39 Girard Avenue in Hartford. I'm a City of Hartford retiree. I'm also on the executive committee of SENCAP Federal Credit Union. We presently have 3 branches of the credit union in the City of Hartford. I'm speaking on the submitted council resolution to save our High Street branch, which we adamantly want to keep to serve our members. That branch was included in the public safety complex around 2006 after a request for proposals sent out by the city where SunCap was chosen. The city entered into a lease agreement, and the credit union spent between $400,000 and $500,000 on the interior fit-out of that space after the city decided to sell the building at 525 Main Street, where we had a branch for a number of years. When SunCap left 525 Main Street, we had to leave vaults and other valuable investments at that site. If we are not granted a new lease for the High Street location, this is the second time that the city is moving us, and we are a nonprofit organization. We do not have the extra funds to set up another branch for our members. We are committed to our community and their financial viability. We step in where other banks would not or could not, and we have an impact on the health of our neighborhoods. At the High Street branch, there were 2,700 in-person transactions performed in May and 2,200 performed in April. 85% of these transactions were performed by Hartford residents. We have a total of 16,000 individual accounts, which include saving, checking, money market, and CD accounts, and 7,600 belong to Hartford residents. Many of our customers are City of Hartford employees, retirees, as well as persons working in our nonprofit sector. Generally, these customers have credit ratings less than what would be satisfactory to a for-profit banking institution. Additionally, we provide banking services in areas where there are few other banking options. Credit unions have a long history of serving communities of color and underserved communities with services that are needed rather than trying to make a profit. We are committed to our community and their financial viability.
But I couldn't. But somebody called me, and I can.
Excuse me.
We step in where other banks would not, and we have an impact on our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the list is Will Moffitt.
Good evening. My name is William Moffitt. Again, I am speaking for myself, but from the experiences I have working at the Connecticut Harm Reduction Alliance and particularly doing outreach for the unsheltered.
I just want to interrupt, Will. I'm sorry. You should feel free to lift the mic up and straighten your back or do what you got to do. It pains me to see you hunched over like that.
Yeah, right. I got enough of a hunch as it. Ooh, it actually feels better. Yeah, so I watched today the sort of 30-minute press conference that Mayor Bronin held for the Heart team a couple weeks ago. I also remember during the budget hearing seeing you all discuss it very in depth. Now, while I appreciate the efforts of it, from what I have seen on the streets and from what I have heard, and again, mind you, because of HIPAA law and my respect for the people I work with, I can't say too many details. The team appears grossly inadequate. You cannot have 5 people approach someone at once. I've seen on the street 5 of them, all 5 of them, 2 of which you honestly kind of give off an impression as if they're cops and tough guys, surrounding a man who clearly had mental illness, persecutorial delusions. In the work that I do, even just 2 people approaching someone sometimes can be very overwhelming. So I've seen on multiple occasions the Heart team circling and surrounding people. I've heard from people that the Heart team was dismissive, sometimes judgmental, that they didn't necessarily follow through. Now, this is specifically for a certain clientele, the clientele that often falls through the gaps, those who are actively within substance use disorders, but it's more than just that. A friend of mine a couple weeks ago who just has nowhere to be and wouldn't harm a fly occasionally sits outside Union Station. The police were called. The Heart team didn't show up. 2 cops showed up. They didn't tell this man anything about services he could get or what else he could do. They handcuffed him. The amount of trauma it caused this man was intense. The next day, someone shows up at the Union Station who had been on footage slashing someone's tires. They call the cops on them, and the Heart team shows up to that one, which struck me as kind of weird. I'm very concerned that a lot is put on images of these programs that aren't necessarily as effective as we would like. And there's a lot of other stuff I would like to talk about, but I want to be focused on these people because I think it's not even so much about being trauma-informed. You can have people who go through things and who are certified, but if they haven't been informed by trauma, if they aren't the right people, if they bring negative energies, it's not going to help. It's going to push a lot of people deeper in the hole. So I ask you, if you go forward, to really rethink the Heart team and how they're applied and who's hired for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Larry Deutsch.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. It's good to see you in the flesh, faces where we've all been a little distant because of COVID. Oh, sorry. Thank you. And greetings to the new member of council. And the old ones too. I'd just like to speak very briefly on 2 subjects, a time together to some extent. And so one of them just has to do with the cost of living increase. And I'd like to know if, well, here, let me postpone. The cost of living increase, as most of us know through circulars from the Treasurer's Office, has not been given to retirees for about 17 or now 18 years, despite inflation and so on and so forth. And the question is, I think, that that's despite inflation, which we know is especially recently acute, increases in food, rent, gas, and everything, really. And we know that we paid consultants to offer us three choices, and there's been no action on them. Whereas the simplest one would be just to follow the amount of increases with the federal steps in Social Security and in the state and so on. So it seems to me a little simple, especially for those who are really hit by those inflationary costs. Again, the very food that people can buy to eat, gasoline and so on and so forth. So I would think to have respect for the retired folks living in the city who worked city jobs many years, and a couple of them are here. I would say that if somebody wants to put a cap on those who already receive very high pensions from other sources, totaling over 50,000, 60 or 70, well, then fine, put a cap on the very minor increase that is being proposed for cost of living increase once they have a pension. So so I wonder if on another subject, which is dear to many of us, and I've just been reminded by Majority Leader that what my comments will be directed not just towards women but towards men, and that has to do with the conditions in nail salons, for which we have a city ordinance. We've had it for about 3 or 4 years, and I understand from speaking with health directors and health department workers and L&I that we're not enforcing it very well, either for reasons of money or disagreement and so on and so forth. And I would think on both of these subjects, there would be concurrence on the city among Democrats with a capital D and a small d to have cost of living increases and health and safety measures in the nail salons. And any man or woman can step inside, and sometimes you smell these organic chemicals, which are toxic, and they can be fatal. I hope you know, even if it takes a few years to show itself. Okay, so therefore, I plead from a medical point of view, not just a human point of view, that there will be needless diseases and deaths in blood structure, lungs, and so on and so forth, and cancer. This has been shown, and there's a handout been prepared and narrowed down to just 2 sides from an EPA report in the past, and also OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Is there anyone, can I see by show of hands, anyone that has not received any of my repeated emails on the subject? There's nobody who's not received it. Okay, then and I should ask read it. And that's wonderful, okay. So therefore, I'm grateful for that. It seems to me that the evidence has been on the federal level, the state level, and academic research, that these are dangerous things, and we can do something about it. We just need some good fans, not little ones at each station or blue masks, but we need without great cost to the owners and the workers in them, many of whom are Asian, many of whom are minority, and many of whom may lack health insurance. So I will, I've presented some of my colleagues and former colleagues with a handout. It's done in black and white, but I hope everyone has it and reads it very carefully with the means to fund it, give it money, so that we can have health inspectors who do that as well as food. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deutsch. Next on our list, Alyssa Peterson.
Good evening, Councilor Alyssa Peterson, 297 Grandview Terrace. I'm appearing tonight because I've learned a few of you are interviewing to keep your jobs as Democratic councilpersons. I'm personally supportive of some, but question others' motives. I'm also questioning those who are newly running and haven't ever attended a council meeting in their life or only attended them as a city employee. I wonder why Hartford doesn't act like surrounding towns and pull people up through the ranks of our city commissions or from outsiders who are often more expert in budget or council matters like a Hyacinth Yenny. One thing I do know for sure is that the interviews overseen by Democratic Party Chairman Mark DeBella are losers. We learn so little about candidates. Instead, we often learn who should have received an endorsement but didn't get it. But something else has occurred which has spurred me into action, as in why I'm making this brief little speech tonight. A few months ago, I heard some female voters who were questioning the conduct of one of you council. I learned that they brought it to some of your attention in person at these meetings and in writing. But what concerned me more was that one of these voters was warned off the topic, and not by one of you, but by a long-esteemed member of the Hartford community. Personally, I was shocked, and it's made me look at things in a different light. I looked to the example set by our neighboring Wethersfield Council when one of their Republican members made a single misstatement during a budget meeting. He was gone in a week. So because of the terrible job done by the Hartford Democratic Town Committee and my learning about what I perceive as a threat about daring to question one of you council members and your conduct, I decided to do something about it. I'm going to launch one of my temporary websites and begin handicapping the council, mayor, and treasurer races. I don't want to see another voter warned off who was sincerely and legitimately questioning a Hartford council person's unlawful conduct as an elected official. This council body, you, are the second most critical office in all of Hartford. You are the executive board of Hartford and executive overseers of the mayor, although sadly, some of you are often perceived as rubber stamps. Anyways, stay tuned and good luck to those of you who deserve re-election. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Do we have a Chanel Morris online?
Yes. Good evening, council members. My name is Chanel Morris. I am representing the Grow Hartford Youth Program, which is a part of the Hartford Food System. The organization is located at 190 Wethersfield Ave. And I'm here to talk about some suggestions for improving the school food. Currently, one second. So I'm here to make some suggestions to improve the school food, which will end up improving many other issues that students and teachers are currently facing. Better school food will improve attendance. It will improve focus, since students cannot focus currently when they are hungry. And it will also improve behavior, since students are more likely to be angry and irritated without proper nutrition. The current meals are served in plastic containers, which are reheated, which means that harmful chemicals are being leaked into the food. The portion sizes are incredibly small, and the meals are usually junk food based, such as pizza, hamburgers, and fries. The junk food diet is having serious consequences on students' physical and mental health. Thus, it is important for us to make this a top priority. Our solution to improving these issues is implementing the 10 slices of justice, which demands bigger portions, better quality food, local food, better lunchtime, knowledge behind the food, scratch cooking, as opposed to the current method of just reheating the food, hot breakfast, culturally appropriate school food, and youth voice. We would like to see more youth included in creating the menu or suggesting menu items, as well as giving feedback and evaluating what they are eating. To achieve the majority of these demands, which includes better quality food, Food should be grown and sourced locally. Now, there is currently some food being sourced locally, but there are contracts from outside that the USDA has approved and that schools are kind of binded to comply with. So we would like to see more of a local school food system, which means implementing more gardens and farms, greenhouses, and also with that, emphasizing food education, gardening education that is engaging for students. So gardening can be a part of the curriculum. Students need a lot more hands-on learning. They're tired of virtual things. They're tired of the screens. They want more hands-on learning, and this is a great opportunity. And then this can also address food insecurity in the community. Students come from households that are food insecure, and they go to schools where they are left hungry. So
That's
we
time.
would like to, sorry.
You can finish your thought. I'm just letting you know.
Yes. So we would like to work with the City Council, the Board of Education, food service directors, the director of Hartford Public School Nutrition to implement the 10 slices of justice, to take our school food rubric, which assesses healthy and nutritious school food, ethical school food, and youth-centered school food, to implement the local school food system. So that's all for now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elaine Hatcher.
Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. And I have two things here. My first is I'm very upset about what's going on in Maryland. Thank you for what's been done so far. Over at the 1944 Circus fire site, that the school is abandoned now. And since the school is abandoned, there's a lot of glass, there's a lot of debris. It was a mess over there. I called Marilyn and she did have Public Works clean up some of it, but the problem is also in the front of it. People are putting their furniture, people are putting whatever they feel like they want to discard, and they just making the site look like a garbage can. And there a lot of work went into that. Not only that, there are a lot of lives over there that were lost. Now, my second thing is SINCAP. I've been a member of SINCAP since 1972. And at that time, when I joined, we were in a little corner by the bathroom on the first floor. Then they moved us across the street to 525 Main Street. In 78, when they renovated 525 Main Street, they moved us to 57 Pratt Street. So we bought a building. Now we have a building. Then we bought another building. Now they had a branch at 525 and a branch at 2775 Main Street. So now we have two branches, but then they moved the branch that was at 525 over to the police station. And that's fine because, I mean, we're paying for that. I don't think that it's fair that the fire department that has been down here, I know at least 50 years because I know it's 2023 now, and I came to work in the city of Hartford in 1971. And if you can find me 10 firemen that actually really physically live in Hartford, I could see, okay, maybe you can consider it. But why can't all these empty buildings in the city of Hartford, why can't they find someplace else? Why do they have to go in and you give them our stuff that we already purchased? That's not fair. Each time you're putting us behind the 8 ball for no reason. And the majority of the people that are SINCAP members live in the city of Hartford, and they get around by bus, by whatever. The majority of the fire people live someplace else. They all got the transportation, so it is not fair. It's totally unfair for you to even consider giving it to the fire department. Why don't they go someplace where there's plenty of empty buildings. I know there must be thousands of empty bank buildings around here. Why pick that one? We already set up. So I'm asking you to have show a little humanity here for the people who live in this city of Hartford. These same people that vote for you, because half these fire people cannot vote for you because they don't live here. So while you make these decisions, and most of the time, we're not involved in the decision making because some yucky yuck, muckety muck think they're so important that they can come and say, I want this, and you just give it to them. I haven't been here in a long time, so you know this means a lot to me. Now, I might blow up somebody's phone because of something going on, and Marilyn will attest to that. But think about what you're doing. Think about the disadvantage that you putting all our members at. It's just not fair. And thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, I'm sorry. I had another thing about the Albany Avenue. Okay, you shake your head. I mean, Blue Hills Avenue. Well, my son got hit by a car on Blue Hills Avenue, okay?
I understand, but your time has expired. Beverly Red.
I am Beverly Red. I live at 1114 Paquonic Avenue in Windsor. I serve as the chair for the West Indian Social Club of Hartford, which is located at 3340 Main Street, Hartford, Connecticut. I'm going to speak on the resolution for the noise audience extension for our Independence celebration, which will be held August 3rd through August 12, 2023. On behalf of the West Indian Social Club and its members, we're asking for your support to approve our request for the noise audience extension. This is our 61st year having Celebration Week in the city of Hartford, with continuous demonstration of the strength of the city of Hartford through diversity, while contributing to the economic development in North Hartford. And we would like to thank you very much for your consideration and for allowing me to speak this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All I have is a first name, Marlene. Marlene? Marlene, are you there? All right, moving on. Tyrone Solomon.
Hello. Tyrone, he's not able to be here right now, but he sent me a statement. Am I able to read it?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, he's representing the Grow Hartford Youth Program. He attends Buckley High School. He is a 10th grader, and this is his statement. He says, I'm writing this statement because the food that we get at the school is terrible. I'm speaking up about it because if I don't, who will? The first day I came to Buckley High School and saw the food, I honestly thought it was jail food. They also serve dairy products such as milk, cheese, and more that I can't eat because of the dairy, due to the fact that I am lactose intolerant. If I do eat the school food with dairy in it, my stomach will start hurting and my skin will start to develop a rash. There are many others like me that are lactose intolerant, and I am speaking up on behalf of them as well. We students need better food and more non-dairy products. So that was his statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Raquel Walker. Raquel Walker. Raquel, can you hear us?
Yes, I was trying to unmute. Apologize. Yes, hi, I'm Raquel Walker. I'm the secretary for the West Indian Social Club. I'm also here representing our organization and asking for you guys to give us an extension to the noise ordinance for our celebration week. I've am a Hartford native and have always attending the parade and the festivities. It does bring people into the city. It opens up the cultures that we have surrounding us. So we're just requesting to see if you guys will pardon us for the week of our celebration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody that signed up that I don't have their names? Leslie Hammond? I'm sorry, I don't have your name on the list, but you may proceed. Yep.
Leslie Hammond, 1 Linden Place. So I appreciate you guys being here. I know there's other things going on, so I really appreciate it. So a few things from the agenda. 3-2, the mayor wants to do tax assessment fixing agreements for the properties in Bushnell South. And I'm concerned that he owns property in that district and that he really should recuse himself or sell his townhouse. I know he's not going to do either, but just wanted to bring that to your attention. His value of his townhouse is definitely going to go up as that area is developed. So it's definitely a conflict of interest. Suzanne Hopgood, who was on the CRDA board, she did sell her townhouse. It was right near there, and I really applauded her for doing that. She did that before things picked up a notch. I'm glad she had that integrity. 3-4, the city-owned properties to the land bank. As I'm sure you all are aware, the land bank's been doing an awesome job of empowering our city people to buy these properties, and I really urge the city to just give them all to them, because I've watched these properties for a really long time. As you know, I'm a realtor, and they just sit there. And, you know, I'm not sure why we didn't have this idea, but we didn't, and the land bank's doing a great job. So I hope we continue to give them all our properties. I know development services, people have been leaving, some really valuable people, and they're really shorthanded. So I think any help we can get them is a good thing. A few other items. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I feel that our libraries and our parks and our cultural events are our biggest assets in this city, particularly because they're open to everybody. The library, I went to a meeting the other night about the Main Street Library, and they're going to use this opportunity to do some changes and renovate it, and they say that it's not going to delay things. I find that hard to believe. It's an incredible library, as you might know, that has all kinds of programs and community events, and the people that spoke at this meeting, you know, I had learned a lot myself. I had no idea they had so many events. So I think they're partially going to open in the fall and then next year, but that's a huge gap for this area. And there are some people that just walk to that library, so it's really caused a hardship. Secondly, Batterson Park, you know, I've mentioned it before. I believe we're spending the $10 million the state gave us. Now out of the state, it seems that there's some task force or something. I don't know what they're doing. I thought they were going to take over Batterson. So please keep on top of that and get it open. And lastly, Bronin said he was going to hire a cultural affairs person, and I haven't seen anything about that. So here's something about the mill rates in the Hartford Business Journal, just in case you missed it. It really shows how high ours is compared to everybody else. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak that did not sign up? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you very much. This concludes our public comment portion of the City Council meeting, and we will begin at 7 o'clock for our regular scheduled business. Thank you.